Hello everyone, welcome to Simple Science. In this video we will see what laser is and all the important properties associated with laser. Earlier the concept of wave particle duality was not accepted by people, since half of the scientists were supporting the particle nature of the light, whereas the other half were supporting the wave nature of light. For example, Newton gave his corpuscular theory, Young's interference experiment proved the wave nature of light, Maxwell characterized light as vibration of electromagnetic field, Planck explained light as packets of energy called quanta, and finally Einstein gave the photon concept. And according to that, light is composed of individual particles called photons which possess a discrete amount of energy called quanta. He also predicted that when population inversion occurs, it's possible to get amplified stimulated radiation, that is laser light. And later his predictions were found to be true. So let's study what exactly is laser. Laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. As we all know, it is highly monochromatic, coherent, directional, intense, energetic beam of light. Now, population inversion. This phenomenon is responsible for getting the stimulated radiation, that is the laser light. Whenever a particle interacts with the radiation and it changes its state, then we can say that transition has occurred. As you can read, when an atom receives or releases an amount of energy equal to the energy difference between those two states. Here the two states are high energy state and low energy state, then it is termed as transition. For example, this is my ground state and this is the excited state. If the atom is getting hit by any radiation and it is making a transition, that is, it is leaving the ground state and moving to the high energy state, or it is coming from high energy state to the ground state, then we can say a transition has occurred. Now the three most important phenomenon associated with laser is absorption, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. We will study this in detail one by one. Here are few of the examples of laser, that is ruby laser. This was the first design laser, the solid ruby laser. Later helium neon laser, semiconductor laser, argon ion laser, chemical laser, etc. were also invented. Okay, so now we will study about the absorption process, the first process. Atoms of lower energy state E1 absorbs incident photon and goes to higher energy state E2. This transition is known as stimulated absorption or induced absorption. This could be the before picture and this is the after picture. An atom is residing in the ground state. An incident photon of energy h nu is hitting this atom, and due to the energy gained by this atom, now it will move to the excited state. So we can say the atom is absorbing the photon and then moving to high energy state. So this process is called as absorption. The transition can be written as A plus h nu, and here this h nu should be equal to the energy difference between the two states, that is h nu should be equal to E2 minus E1. So coming back to the transition, A plus h nu will give A star. This is the ground state of the atom, the photon, incident photon, and this is the atom in excited state. So this is how the process is represented. Now the number of atoms excited during the time delta t in the medium is given by NAB is N absorbed, that is number of atoms that are excited during the time delta t is given by B12 N1 Q delta t. Here N1 is the number of atoms in state E1, Q is the energy density of the incident beam. B12 is the probability of an absorption transition to occur. To explain this phenomenon in simple words, my atom was in ground state. The external photon is hitting this atom, energy is getting transferred, and thus this ground state atom has now gained energy, and it will move to the excited state by absorbing that energy, and thus this process is known as absorption. Next, moving ahead to spontaneous emission. Excited state with high energy are unstable, and due to natural tendency of gaining stability, the atoms comes back to the ground state, giving up excess energy. This energy h nu is equal to E2 minus E1. The process in which the photon emission occurs without any external agent is spontaneous emission or natural emission. Here you will see that the atom was residing in the excited state E2. Since the atom was in excited state or high energy state, its potential energy was high. Now the natural tendency of atom is to gain stability, and stability will be gained only if the energy value is less. That means when it will come to the ground state. So the atom will give out its energy and come to the ground state, that is even. This is spontaneous emission. In this we are not providing any external agent. This is a natural process, and thus it is called as spontaneous emission or natural emission. This whole process can be represented as A star. This represents the atom in excited state coming to ground state, giving out A plus h nu. H nu is the energy that is liberated during this process. Now the number of spontaneous emission taking place in medium during time delta t is given as NSP. SP represents spontaneous emission, is equal to A21 N2 delta t. Here N2 is the number of atoms in state E2, that is number of atoms in excited state. And A21 is the probability of spontaneous emission to occur. Probability of spontaneous emission. So with the diagram itself, it is clear that the atom was initially in the excited state. It is coming to the ground state by giving out energy h nu. So this is spontaneous emission. Next we will move to stimulated emission. Now we will see about the stimulated emission. In this case, atom of excited state doesn't wait for spontaneous or natural emission to occur. An external photon hits the excited atom, which triggers it to drop to the lower energy state. This process is also called as forced emission or stimulated emission. As you can see in the diagram, the atom was initially in the excited state E2, but it is not coming to the ground state E1 by itself or naturally. We are hitting the excited atom with a photon, and this photon, incident photon, is triggering this excited atom to come to the ground state by releasing the energy h nu. So this process can be represented as E star plus h nu is equal to A plus 2 h nu. This was our atom in excited state. We are hitting it with an incident photon, and then it is coming to the ground state by giving out energy 2h nu. So this process is called as stimulated emission, since it is not occurring by itself. We are forcing this process to occur. Thus it is also called as forced emission. The number of stimulated transition occurring during the time delta t is represented as NST is equal to B21 N2 Q delta T. Here ST represents stimulated emission. So NST is the number of stimulated transition that will occur during the time delta T, and B21 will be the probability of stimulated emission to occur. In simple words, our atom was in excited state E2, an incident photon hits it. After getting triggered by this incident photons, the atoms comes to the ground state, releasing energy. So this was all about stimulated emission. Stimulated emission is essential for laser action. It is very important. If you want the laser action, you need to have this process that is called as stimulated emission. Multiplication of photons takes place during this process. In the last part of the video, we will study the difference between spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Both the process we have studied already. Now we will only see the differences between them. The radiation in spontaneous emission has less intensity, whereas in case of stimulated emission it has high intensity. It is less directional, it is highly directional. Spontaneous emission could also be called as the natural process, whereas stimulated emission is artificial, or you can say induced process. This process cannot be controlled since it is occurring by itself, while stimulated emission can be controlled. In spontaneous emission, no multiplication of photons occurs, whereas in stimulated emission, multiplication of photon occurs. It is not useful for laser, whereas this process is essential for laser. This has poor energy, while this is highly energetic. So this was all about the basics of laser. In this video we covered the absorption, spontaneous emission, stimulated emission, and the difference between spontaneous and stimulated emissions. Thank you so much for watching till the end.